Next up in our small batch brewing series is Cascade, the second tasting using different malts. Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going to have the second tasting of Cascade with different malts. So on my right is Cascade with Pilsner malt, then Cascade with two-row, then Cascade with Vienna. In this series, the small batch series, we wanted to go back to the beginning, so we're starting with smash beers, or this was one of the starters with smash beers. So in all these batches, we used the Roar Premium Pilsner malt, then the Roar two-row malt, then Vienna malt. All of them use 2 pounds of grain. Let me make sure, yes. 2 pounds of grain, then hop additions. 0.39 ounces at 30 minutes, 0.29 ounces at 10 minutes or at 5 minutes, then 0.32 ounces 3 days into dry hop. We want to get a feel for what the hop does with a malt and what maybe a malt brings to the table and see what one we like best. The Pilsner version was bottled on 622 and is 5.39%. Cascade with two-row was bottled on 622, 5.38%. Then the Vienna version was bottled on 7.9, and that's 5.94%. So these two are closer together than this one, but we've done enough. It is now almost the end of September. We should get a feeling those hops should still be there. Maybe the malts are coming in a little bit more on the Pilsner and two-row, but we will just see. So let's go ahead and open them. These are 25-ounce bottles. They use 2 carbonation tablets. We're trying to see how well those carbonation tablets work. I do have some new ones in, the real small pearl-looking ones versus just the big chunk of sugar. So let's go ahead and open this. Good hiss. This is a brand new cap. Also, we are testing caps to see if reusing them does anything to it. So let's get this first one into a into a glass. There we go. Put the lid back on it. I'm going to set it over here. Okay, two-row version. This is also a new cap. A little bit of a hiss there. And by now they should be fully carbed, since the Pilsner version and the two-row are what, 3-4 months old now. And last, the Vienna version. This is also a new cap. This one, the bottle feels tougher, like it's got more carbonation in it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set these over here so we can actually see the glasses a little better here. Okay, so first off, the Pilsner version, the head is pretty much gone. There is a small white head, but for the most part, it's gone. The two-row version, it's more puffy, like clouds. You can see some peaks in there. It is white. The Vienna version has bigger bubbles, but they're less. They're more spread out than the two-row version. So I think the nicest head, if that means anything, is the two-row version. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the colors. So Pilsner and two-row first. The Pilsner looks like watered down honey. Like if you took honey and put it in water and mixed it up, a lot of it, that's what you would get. I would say a darker yellow, golden yellow color Floating stuff in there. It is kind of hazy. I'm guessing that is chill haze. And for the 2-row, yellow, lighter yellow, hazy. I don't think that's as much chill haze, but it is kind of hazy, lots of bubbles coming up. Now let's compare the 2-row and the Vienna just for color sake. If anything, I would say the 2-row is a little brighter in color and a little bit more hazy. Yeah, the Vienna version has a lot of bubbles. It's still that yellow. It's just not as bright of a yellow color, and you can see through it more. And if we did the Pilsner and the Vienna, it looks almost like they should be switched. That I don't know if it's oxidation or what it is in the Pilsner, but it's always been like that. I did a comparison of the Pilsner and the 2-row, and some people were saying maybe I got the labels switched, and that this is supposed to be the Pilsner supposed to be the 2-row version. But we've had other Pilsners look like this. Okay, let's go ahead and smell, see what we get. A little sweet malt. There is a little floral in there, like piney floral, just barely. Not a lot, just a tiny bit. But that sweet malt is what I get the most. Let's smell the 2-row. I get more floral hop with some sweetness in the back. Let's compare the Pilsner to the 2-row. Yeah, that Pilsner malt, it's more sweet. And that could be because it's a very light malt, so it's not going to take much, and maybe it turns over a little faster, so that sweet malt starts coming up in the IPA. Let's smell the Vienna. I get more of a biscuit floral out of that. Yeah, more biscuit floral out of the Vienna, where the 2-row is almost just floral, but there is a tiny bit of sweetness under there. For me, I would probably have to go with the 2-row. I would rather have the hop shine over anything else. I think the Pilsner, it has too much sweet malt. Like, that malt's not there, or the malt is there. It's like there's not enough hops in there to bring it out, which I actually thought the Pilsner version would almost be overdone because it is a lighter malt. The Vienna, that toasted malt is fine. I think most people would like it, but like I said, if I'm going to pick it and this is a pale ale or an IPA, I would tend to lean towards a more hop forward beer, and I think that 2-row is giving us that. Let's go ahead and taste. We will start with the Pilsner. Sweet malt up front. You do get a touch of that floral, then some bitterness in back. Aftertaste is more of a sweet malt, almost like a sweet honey malt in there. Overcarved a little bit. Yeah, nothing bad. It does kind of taste like an older beer. The aftertaste in your mouth is a hot, piney bitterness with some sweetness in there. Not bad, but I think it's not one I would make and at least let age anytime. You'd have to go back and watch some of the first ones to see if it still had that quality to it. I do not believe that sweet malt was as pronounced back when I first did it than it is now. Let's go ahead and taste the 2-row version. It's smoother, a lot smoother. smoother, a touch of sweet malt. I get more citrus pine in there. Then a little bit of yeast taste in the back. After it's done, it's more of a bitter. I don't want to. I don't want to say grapefruit, like a bitter rind, like an orange rind, grapefruit rind, more bitter rind like that. But definitely a sweeter or a smoother beer than the Pilsner. Okay, let's taste the Vienna. You get that toasted bread, but it has like a good citrus bitterness in the back to almost stop it, if that makes any sense. Very smooth beer. That citrus bitterness isn't that big. It's just a nice little kick. Aftertaste, it has more citrus in there. Nothing huge, just nice like toasted citrus that I'm getting in there. Let's taste the Pilsner again. Yeah, that Pilsner, that sweet malt in there, that bitterness does take over in the aftertaste. Almost wipes the Vienna right out of your mouth. That's why I was taking a couple sips before I said anything, just to cleanse that palate. This is a hard one. Obviously, the Pilsner version I wouldn't make. I would rate that number 3 for this one. I think I would have to go with the Vienna. I like that toasted bread going back into that little bit of citrus bitterness in there. It is smooth. It's not as smooth as the two-row, but I think overall it's a more balanced beer if you like that toasted bread quality in your beer. Yeah. Yeah. Vienna, as of right now, I think is the better beer. I don't know what I said in the first tasting of these. You'll have to go back and watch, and I will too. I try not to watch anything before I do these, just so we're on the same playing field. I still like the head of the two-row version, as I've said before. I would like that head on the Vienna version. They are carved, obviously. Yeah, I think that two-row has just a little too much of that bite, and there's some a small yeast quality in there that I'm getting. Something like that. It has to be like a yeast. They're all using USO5, so there shouldn't be, but that's what I'm getting out of that one, and I do not get it in the Vienna, and I do not get it in the Pilsner malt. So the newer one, right? Yeah. So the Cascade with Vienna malt is younger. The two-row doesn't taste like it's old, and either does the Vienna, but the Pilsner does. I don't know if that's why I'm picking the Vienna, but like I said, that toasted bread going back into that citrus with a little bit of bitterness tastes like a more balanced beer to me. Something that I would make again in a small batch. I would not make a 5-gallon of that. If you're into that toasted bread, then you might want to try a 5-gallon batch of that. But these are smash beers. We're trying to get the hop and the malt qualities out of there. How does the hop play with the malts? Yeast, we are sticking with USO5 on all these right now until we get a base, and then we will take the ones we like and then start changing the yeast on there. With all Dry yeast is just a little easier to work with. With the batches I make 1.25 gallon batches, excuse me, going into the carboy, and because of that, the dry yeast is easier to open and use, where if you have a liquid yeast, that's usually for a 5 gallon, and some of those smack packs and ones that you have to shake up like the Omega, putting those back in the fridge, I don't want to deal with that. And also I really don't want to put them in a jar yet. I want to try and make 4 or 5 at a time, so I'm using the whole thing. So that'll come later. But yeah, for this one, the Vienna version is my favorite. If you've done anything like this, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And until next time, happy brewing.